Welcome to Deep Sleep Stories, where imagination floats you softly into dreamland. Breathe, rest, and sleep.
Welcome to Deep Sleep Stories. Please settle in and make yourself comfortable. In this moment, you deserve a pause from all that came before and all that awaits tomorrow. Gently close your eyes or let your gaze soften, allowing the edges of the world around you to blur. Notice how each breath you take is a gateway to calm. With every slow inhale, you invite the soothing presence of peace. With each gentle exhale, you release tension and worry. Tonight's story will carry you to a secluded tropical beach bungalow where gentle waves caress the shore at your feet. Before we begin, feel the softness in your body. Allow your shoulders to loosen, your jaw to unclench, and your heart to lighten as you drift into this welcoming space of rest and tranquility. Take a deep, unhurried breath in and breathe out slowly. Let your thoughts settle like grains of sand being carried to rest by an ebbing tide. Breathe again, feeling the tender weight of your eyelids as they grow heavier. Let yourself savor this stillness. You've made time to slow down, so there's no rush. Give yourself permission to simply be. Imagine that each breath melts away the noise of the day, the remnants of to-do lists and expectations. As you relax, your mind becomes as serene as a calm ocean, quieted by the promise of restoration. In this moment, you're gently guided toward the journey ahead. You can already sense the faintest hint of salt in the air, an invitation from the distant sea. There's a delicate warmth drifting around you, as though sunshine is lightly touching your skin. Soon, you'll enter a realm of glowing shores, rustling palms and soft sands, an oasis shaped by warm breezes and guided by gentle waves. Let this idea rest in your imagination. In your mind's eye, the soft hush of water and the glimmer of tropical light beckon. This is where you will travel tonight. Breathe, soften, and allow the story to unfold. A figure stands on a narrow strip of warm sand, gazing at the sea's shifting palette of turquoise and sapphire. The sun rests high in a sky so blue it seems to blend into the horizon, where gentle clouds drift lazily. This figure has just arrived at a secluded beach, a place known only to soft whispers of travelers who long for the quiet lull of ocean waves. Warm air envelopes the newcomer, carrying with it the comforting scent of coconut and the briny tang of the sea. Slowly, the figure steps away from the water's edge and follows a narrow path of wooden planks leading to a modest bungalow that faces the vast ocean. Tall palm trees sway in a subtle rhythm above this bungalow. Their glossy leaves bow and sway, casting filigree patterns of shade upon the wooden deck that wraps around the little dwelling. The bungalow stands on sturdy stilts, as if gently floating above the sand. Its windows open out to the sea, inviting breezes to drift through. The figure pauses at the top of the steps to look back at the beach, studying the gentle roll of waves that glisten under the sun's affection. Then, stepping inside, the traveler takes in the cozy interior. Straw-woven mats, a bed draped with gauzy fabric, and pale walls that reflect the daylight with a soft, creamy glow. Within these simple walls, there's a profound sense of ease. The air is quiet, humming only with the hush of the ocean outside. In the corner, a basket sits filled with shells of every shape and color. Tokens from strolls along the sand, tiny echoes of the sea's infinite artistry. Seafoam green curtains flutter by the windows, inviting the crisp breeze inside. And from somewhere nearby, the tender chirp of tropical birds mingles with the melodic sigh of the tide. The figure lingers, letting the mind float on the lullaby of the beach before venturing back onto the deck to savor the panoramic beauty of this secluded paradise. Bright sunlight glints off the water like a scatter of diamonds on liquid glass. Far in the distance, a lone sailboat drifts along the horizon, white sails making lazy arcs against the gentle wind. The figure steps off the bungalow's deck and walks down a path of smooth, sun-warmed stones. Each step is careful, deliberate, bringing deeper awareness to the soft give of sand beneath bare feet. Even the breeze seems to move in slow motion, as though the island itself exists in a tranquil bubble of time. Beneath the shade of a palm, the traveler finds a hammock, its woven net gently beckoning. Settling there, the figure sinks into the welcoming embrace of the hammock's gentle sway. The hush of rolling waves sets the tempo for the moment, slow, consistent, and peaceful. Each breath aligns with the ocean's rhythm. Inhale as a wave gathers, exhale as it unfurls onto the shore. This effortless harmony soothes every muscle and quiets the mind, allowing it to drift through the shimmering possibilities of daydream. Time seems to dissolve as the traveler dozes, lulled by the cradle of warm breezes. Rays of sunlight dance through the palms overhead, creating shifting patterns of gold and green on closed eyelids. There's no urgency, no tasks clamoring for attention, only this gentle descent into deep, unhurried rest. Even the faint calls of seabirds contribute to the hush, their voices distant and unintrusive. Eventually, the figure stirs, gently rousing from that cozy half-sleep to find that the sun has begun its journey toward the horizon. The bright midday sky has mellowed into a softer shade of blue, while amber and rose tints begin to paint the edges of scattered clouds. Rising from the hammock with a sense of quiet curiosity, the traveler walks along the shore, allowing the warm ocean water to lap over bare toes. With each step, the water drifts around ankles in little foaming ripples, swirling away again in a playful dance. Looking out to sea, the traveler notices the subtle shifts of light. The sun is lower now, and a mellow glow casts a tender sheen across the surface of the ocean. Little by little, the waves adopt a more languid pace, as if drifting off into a contented, drowsy state of their own. Darker hues color the underside of distant clouds, a gentle prelude to the nighttime spectacle soon to unfold. The traveler's senses remain attuned to each tranquil detail. The taste of salt lingers on the lips. The faint smell of tropical blossoms mingles with the brine of the sea, wrapping the air in a soft, sweet perfume. Every breath is an invitation to sink into the island's hush. Passing a cluster of smooth stones at the water's edge, the figure bends to gather one that catches the eye. A small, oval piece of coral, worn smooth by countless tides. Holding this treasure in one's hand feels like cradling a tiny piece of time, shaped by patience and the gentle persistence of the waves. When the traveler returns to the bungalow, the sun hovers near the horizon, painting the sky in delicate brush strokes of peach, lavender, and gold. Inside, the space is bathed in a warm, amber glow. The traveler sets the coral on a windowsill near a vase of freshly gathered frangipani blooms, white petals trimmed in gentle pink. There is beauty in this simplicity. It's as though the entire bungalow has been designed to accentuate nature's gentle gifts. Even the walls seem to reflect the fading sunlight, turning every surface into a canvas of golden hue. Outside, the traveler lights a lantern on the deck, its amber glow flickering in harmony with the approaching twilight. Taking a comfortable seat, the figure watches the sun dip below the horizon. The sky's colors intensify for a brief moment. Vibrant tangerines and magentas swirl into a breathtaking tapestry before yielding to dusky purple. Then, with serene inevitability, darkness settles over the sea. But the darkness here is gentle, filled with a sense of calm. Starlight begins to glimmer above, revealing the broad expanse of night sky. The traveler sits for a long time, enthralled by the stars. The ocean becomes a pool of deep indigo, broken only by the silvery path of moonlight shimmering across the waves. A light breeze stirs, bringing the soothing scent of night-blooming jasmine. It's as if the island itself whispers a lullaby, made up of rustling palms and the faint chorus of tiny night creatures. In this harmonious darkness, each wave that rolls onto the shore adds a soft hush, like the gentle beating of a timeless pulse. Inside the bungalow, a light meal awaits, a bowl of fresh mango slices and coconut water, chilled just enough to refresh. The traveler eats in contented silence, tasting the tropical flavors that mirror the island's warm personality. Sated, the figure drifts to the bed, where light, billowy curtains hang, stirring in the gentle breeze that flows in through the open windows. The linens are soft against the skin, and the bed seems to cradle the body as though made of cloud and moonlight. Settling into that welcoming cocoon, the traveler notices how the bungalow filters the night sounds into a lullaby. The hush of waves, the rustle of palm leaves, and the distant call of a lone night bird all gather to create a gentle symphony of quiet. Outside, the lantern glows softly, casting a warm halo upon the deck, as though holding back the darkness with a comforting embrace. Time drifts on in that meditative silence. The sky eventually deepens into a profound midnight blue, so clear that countless stars blink and shimmer in constellations, both familiar and unknown. The moon, silver and serene, stands sentinel above the horizon, illuminating the bungalow's outline in a soft glow. And in that gentle balance of moonlight and starlight, the traveler slips deeper into an unhurried tranquility. Muscles relax, tension dissolves, and each slow breath feels like stepping further into a dream. Somewhere in those quiet hours, the traveler stirs, half waking to the silken murmur of waves. The bungalow is enveloped in a hush so comforting, it feels like the entire world is sleeping, a realm suspended between night sky and sea. The breeze continues to brush through open windows, carrying with it the faintest scents of salt and flowers, a promise of restful slumber. It's effortless to drift back to sleep, lulled by the soft rhythms playing through the stillness. By early morning, the sky lightens, unveiling a gentle gray that shifts to a watercolor wash of pastel pink and pearl. The traveler awakes slowly, greeted by the sight of sheer curtains drifting in the breeze. A sense of calm well-being settles in the chest. The night's rest has been profound, and now the sun is quietly returning to the stage, painting the horizon with delicate shades of dawn. The traveler sits up, stretching slowly, letting each muscle unfurl like the petals of a morning flower. Stepping onto the deck, the figure finds the early world hushed yet welcoming. The ocean, still dressed in a shade of pale blue, reflects the pastel sky. The air is cooler, carrying a gentle clarity that feels cleansing. Another hammock rests at the corner of the deck, perfectly placed for greeting the sunrise. Easing onto it, the traveler sways lightly, watching the first bright edge of the sun peek above the water. Seabirds, their white wings catching the growing light, glide in graceful arcs along the shore, their calls soft and distant. A fresh coconut sits on a small table nearby, dewy from the cool morning air. The traveler takes it up, sipping the sweet, hydrating water inside. A simple pleasure, yet it feels abundant in this moment, as if the taste of pure nature is enough to awaken the senses gently. The figure lingers in the hammock, swaying in time with the quiet ocean. The day stretches ahead like a warm, inviting canvas, yet there is no urgency. All that matters is the gradual unfolding of each moment. After resting a while, the traveler sets off along the beach. Early light bathes the sand in a soft glow, and the tide has receded to reveal tiny shells and smooth bits of driftwood. A school of small fish darts near the shore, shimmering as they catch the delicate rays of the new sun. the traveler notices everything with an attentive calm. Each shell's intricate shape, the gentle swirl of water around ankles, and the morning calls of seabirds echoing overhead. At a certain point on this stroll, the traveler finds a comfortable driftwood log and settles upon it to watch the gentle waves. Time flows differently here. There's no schedule to follow, no pressing concerns that cannot be left behind. The whisper of the breeze through the palm leaves overhead reassures that all is well and all is at rest. Even the sunlight, though bright, seems tender, warming the skin without overwhelming it. After a time, the traveler stands and decides to explore further inland, where the beach meets a thin belt of jungle growth. The transition is subtle. Pure sand gives way to a tapestry of ferns, broad-leaved plants, and the occasional cluster of bright flowers. Though the ocean's sound is more distant here, it still provides a rhythmic backdrop. Birds of vivid plumage flutter among the branches, their colors a dazzling surprise in the dim green shade. The path meanders between tall palms and shorter, thickly leafed shrubs. Morning dew clings to leaves, catching beams of sunlight that filter through the canopy. There is a small clearing where sunlight pours through an opening in the leaves above, illuminating clusters of tropical orchids in brilliant bloom. Their petals glisten like polished silk in shades of fuchsia and cream. The traveler stands in awe, feeling as though stepping into a secret garden. Here, the air is thick with floral fragrance, carrying an almost honeyed sweetness. The traveler breathes deeply, savoring the moment. It's as if the calm presence of the jungle merges with the ocean's restful hush, creating a sanctuary of gentle, life-giving energy. Eventually, it feels right to return to the bungalow. Following the path, the traveler emerges back onto the sunlit beach. By now, the tide is higher than before, and the waves break a little more crisply on the shore. Yet their sound remains soothing, never harsh. The bungalow stands as it did before, a quiet sentinel in this tranquil paradise. With unhurried steps, the traveler climbs the wooden stairs to the deck, where a soft seat awaits beneath the shade of the thatched roof. A small breeze ruffles the traveler's hair, offering a welcome coolness under the gentle warmth of the sun. It's time to rest once more, so the traveler settles in, letting the mind drift with the ocean's hush. Perhaps a dream or two breezes by, carried on the hush of the waves. Eventually, hunger stirs, and a simple meal of local fruits, crisp vegetables, and fresh juices provides nourishment. The traveler savors each bite, noting the vivid flavors that can only be found in tropical climes. With each taste, there's a deep feeling of gratitude for the island's bounty and the peacefulness that infuses every corner of this place. By late afternoon, the figure takes another stroll along the shore, feet kissing the sand with each step. The ocean sparkles under the descending sun, and a warm, glimmering light filters through the palm trees, standing guard along the coast. Small crabs scuttle across the beach, leaving delicate tracks in the damp sand. Their presence only adds to the gentle tapestry of island life. From time to time, the traveler pauses to collect a shell or watch the hypnotic dance of waves, feeling every bit a part of the natural surroundings. As sunset approaches, the traveler returns again to the bungalow to take up a prime viewing spot on the deck. Tonight's colors seem even more vibrant than the previous evening. Flashes of vermilion and saffron streak across the clouds, casting reflections on the water that shift and change with each gentle wave. The traveler watches the sky's performance with quiet admiration, letting the soothing spectacle wash over the senses. Slowly, the brilliance of the day yields to soft twilight, and the traveler lights a small lantern once more. In the near distance, tiny lights flicker along the shore, perhaps from another secluded bungalow or from small fishing boats that glide farther out at sea. The hush of twilight is absolute, broken only by the mesmerizing symphony of water and breeze. A sense of complete relaxation envelops the traveler. All seems aligned. The timeless lull of the ocean, the whisper of leaves, and the warm glow of lantern light on the deck. Night settles in again, and with it comes a renewed awareness of the swirling stars overhead. The figure retires to the bungalow's interior, where the air feels pleasantly cool after the heat of the day. The bed is just as inviting as before, if not more so. Loose cotton sheets brush against the skin, and the faint night breeze carries soft scents of salt and blossoming flowers through the windows. Lying there, the traveler listens to the ocean's rhythmic chant, each wave a cushion of sound upon which the mind can rest. Sleep arrives quietly, gently. There's no abrupt shift from waking to dreaming, just a mellow drift into softness. In that hush, the traveler's breathing syncs with the roll of the tide. Time spirals and slows. The island's nighttime melody continues its endless lullaby, patient and serene. Hours drift by in this cradle of natural comfort, and the body restores itself in the hush of deep rest. When eyes open at dawn's first light, the traveler notices a contented ease in every limb. The morning air breathes through the bungalow like a soft, welcome invitation. Rising slowly, with no sense of hurry, the figure stands at the window, taking in the calm sea, tinted now with the faint pink hues of sunrise. In the distance, a flock of birds arcs across the sky, their graceful shapes painting delicate strokes against the pale light. It might be tempting to linger and watch the entire sunrise, but the traveler decides to stroll down to the water. Each step in the cool morning sand sparks a gentle awareness in the feet, as if greeting a familiar friend. The waves ripple softly, as if still a bit drowsy themselves. Kneeling at the water's edge, the traveler runs fingers through the shallows, feeling the silky swirl of salt water that has traveled the globe before reaching this shore. It's humbling and soothing all at once. a connection to something vast and timeless. No matter how many days pass in this beachside sanctuary, the sense of wonder never fades. The traveler follows a slow, mindful rhythm, letting the day unfurl in its own quiet way. Sunlight filters through palm fronds, leaving dappled patterns of brightness and shadow on the sandy ground. The ocean's hush provides an unceasing soundtrack, present in the background even when the mind wanders to gentle daydreams or reflective thoughts. In late afternoon, the traveler might swim in the gentle surf, weightless in the warm water. Waves cradle the body, and the horizon stretches wide and welcoming. Tiny fish sometimes dart around, curious about this visitor. Floating there, the traveler feels the tension melt away entirely, replaced by the fluid grace of the sea. Emerging from the water, each droplet of salt spray carries with it a renewed sense of energy and calm. Night once again welcomes the wanderer with its quiet gift of rest. Lantern light glows softly around the bungalow, and the hush of waves seems even more tender under the star-filled sky. The traveler reclines in a chair on the deck, sipping cool water infused with slices of tropical fruit. The evening air is warm, with just the slightest hint of a refreshing breeze. Over and over, the waves whisper, and the traveler listens, letting body and mind sink into that ancient lullaby. Eventually, the bed calls once more. Inside, the curtains shift and stir, revealing glimpses of moonlight. The traveler slides under the sheets, breath slowing with each exhalation. Sleep arrives gently, almost imperceptibly, like a softly closing door that leaves one feeling safe and warm. Outside, the ocean continues its patient embrace of the shore, washing away footprints, smoothing the sand in a timeless cycle of renewal. And so the traveler journeys through these tranquil days and nights in a pattern of subtle, natural harmony, receiving the gifts of sunrises and sunsets, swaying palm trees, gently crashing waves, and the cool hush of moonlit hours. Each moment is a note in a song of rest, each breath an invitation to sink deeper into calm. The tropical beach bungalow stands as a witness to these restful rhythms, sheltering and soothing those who seek the quiet refuge of nature's gentle lullaby. Now the stars shimmer overhead, and the only sounds are the waves embracing the shore again and again. The air is still and comforting, as if urging you to give yourself over to the warmth of this moment. Let your breathing become gentler, softer. Notice how the lungs expand effortlessly, and how the exhale brings relief, carrying away even the faintest traces of tension. The hush of night is absolute, yet it feels welcoming rather than empty. This is your invitation to drift into the sweetest slumber. Feel the memories of the day dissolve into the swirl of gentle waves. Let your mind float, weightless, in the lull between each breath. The ocean's endless rhythm is your lullaby, carrying you across the threshold of consciousness into a land of rest and renewal. If your thoughts flutter or wander, let them settle back onto the soft sand of your imagination, carried away on the evening tide. You have nothing to do now but rest. As you yield to the quiet of the night, know that each moment here is a gift, a respite from the rush of time. Sink deeper into your pillow, allowing the last traces of wakefulness to melt away. Let the waves lull you like a gentle cradle. Each soft pulse of water against the shore resonates with your own heartbeat, a calm, comforting presence. There is peace in the air, in the land, and in your soul. Drift now into the soothing darkness of night. Rest comes naturally. Let it embrace you. Imagine the moonlit ocean standing watch at your window, guiding you into dreams as serene as the starlight. You are safe. You are at ease. Breathe in the stillness. Breathe out any lingering thought. Everything is gentle. Everything is calm. Now, dear traveler, let go. Allow your mind to float across silken waves and slip into the soft cradle of sleep. Good night. Sleep well.